Here with Rabbi Eliezer Goldschmidt in this wonderful special interview. The third part, we're talking now about 1948, the State of Israel, and his life experience at the time. Please continue.
The interest.
Do you want to drink something? You want to drink something?
You see, I feel very feel that.
Huh?
A glass of water, some water.
Go ahead, continue. Just continue.
Yeah.
Okay, you can bring the water. Go ahead.
No, leave it. Sit down. Leave it. I take it.
Okay.
Okay.
So 1948, there was demonstrations to get the Jews out of Europe. The Jews woke up, you said.
The
Continue.
Jews woke up as a result of the knowledge of what happened in Europe during the Second
Right.
World
And did
War.
you experience in college at the time anti-Semitism because of 1948?
City College was, you could be admitted to City College only as a result of a very, very difficult test. 6 hours, 7 hours
Wow.
of tests of all kinds of things. The result being that especially I was in the Bernard Baruch School of City College.
Which school?
Bernard Baruch.
Oh,
School.
the Baruch.
Was,
Yeah. Yes.
City College was, for all practical purposes, 80-90% Jewish. So there was no question of an anti-Semitism, because there was
Mostly were Jews.
exactly. The other thing, see, the atmosphere at the time, the anti-Semitism was much before that. When my father came as an expert in marine insurance, where he had worked in Europe, and when we came to America, he could not attain a job with an insurance company because he was Jewish, out of the question at the time, and therefore he became, so to speak, a independent broker, but which he was not very suitable for. He didn't know how to sell. He knew his expert. He was an expert in
Right, but he wasn't a salesman.
He was not a salesman.
Right.
But he had to nevertheless see to it that
To
he
bring
got
parnassa,
some
sure.
also. Anyway, so as I said, the atmosphere was also concerning the question of what's happening in Eretz Israel, and among the various friends of ours, we became, so to speak, a branch of the Poale Aguda in America, and we tried to we were collecting things to be sent to Eretz Israel, because in Eretz Israel there was nothing. People couldn't have any food here.
It was
even
terrible.
So we're in a very difficult matzav. My wife knows better because she was here during the Independence War, so she knows exactly what's going on. And the result being, we collected, and we were working all the time in all kinds of things, trying to do something, and it took time actually from my learning at the time. We had an additional, obviously we had an additional to the school. I participated in shiurim, which were given.
We're in Borough Park?
Yes, were given by some people who had been in China,
In Shanghai.
In Shanghai during the war.
Yeah, at the yeshiva in Mir.
Yeah, and they gave shiurim.
Who? Do you remember the name? Anybody's name?
I forgot honestly.
Who was the rabbi? Who was the rav of Bnei Yehuda at the time? Shem Ramuna at the time.
Rabbi Wahlberg.
Wahlberg, yeah.
He was American, so to speak. He grew up in America.
Yeah.
I would say, his words were. He had an influence upon me, undoubtedly. The whole atmosphere was whereas when I went to, so to speak, to high school, there were many Jews, but again, Shomer Shabbos were practically not non-existent.
Right.
So, anyway, and the interest became more and more for me in concerning what was in Eretz Yisrael.
Okay, but this was 1950 already?
Yes, let's put it this
Okay,
way.
so what made your parents make Aliyah?
Parents did not make Aliyah.
Oh, parents not make Aliyah?
No.
They stayed in Borough Park
Yes.
till they passed away?
I personally went. I personally went by myself with the blessings of my father, whose history is very important to say. He was.
What was his first name, your father?
My father's name was Tzvi Benjamin. He was Herman Goldschmidt.
Okay, and he was telling me about his history. That what?
My father was, I would say, against the Zionists, and for no other reason that he said, at the time in the 20s, I was told before I was born that the Arabs will never stay quiet.
He's right.
He was right.
He said so that they wouldn't take it. They wouldn't do it. In other words, it would be a very dangerous thing. Nevertheless, when it came, so to speak, after the Second World War, and the state was already established, and I saw the difficulties, so to speak, in America concerning the question of jobs and Shabbat and so forth and all of these, that I decided that I'm going to go and see what's doing in Eretz Yisrael.
He supported it.
And my father gave his blessings. And
your other brother went too, or only you?
At the time, only I.
Okay.
The middle brother, who unfortunately passed away last year at the age of 96, he came in 58.
Oh.
He came
because he heard how much you liked it.
I don't know. I can't say that.
Okay, when you came here, tell me your experience.
When I came, that's already.
You met your wife?
No, later. No, it's a bit later. When I came.
It was 1951 you came?
Yes, February 51.
Okay, so that's like when you were 31 years old.
21.
21, sorry.
21.
21.
I came when I was 21. It took going via Europe and via Italy. You couldn't.
By boat.
Of course, there's no other way.
Right.
There's no other way. Anyway.
And you came with the kavanah, with the intent of staying.
I came with the kavanah. Let's see.
Let's see. Okay. Continue, please.
And
you came here.
I came here.
And there was poverty all over.
Yes,
big poverty.
I was met by Moshe Oman, whose friend Israel Oman, Johnny Oman was my age, but Moshe Oman was an older person, 2 or 3 years older, something like that. He met me at the boat.
How did you know him? From Germany?
In Borough Park.
Oh, in Borough Park.
In Borough Park. He had come from Borough Park.
Okay. Omen? O-M-E-N?
Oman.
Okay. Oh, the professor?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He-
Jerry.
Not Jerry. Johnny.
Auman. He was a brother was a rabbi for the Flatbush of the Flatbush Jewish Center.
No, he was not a rabbi.
But was he
was
the one that
Jewish.
became the PhD and the scientist, who won the Nobel Prize?
Yes, that was my friend. That's my.
Is he
he's
still
my
alive?
age.
He's still alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's alive and kicking.
Baruch Hashem.
Yes.
Okay, so his name is known.
Not at the time. It was not.
No, of course not. Anyway, so he greeted you,
His brother.
his brother, who you knew
And
from
he
Borough
said-
Park.
So I said, look, we don't go straight to Jerusalem. That was at the time a very difficult trip. We go via Tel Aviv. You had to go via Tel Aviv. And let me stop at the, I knew of a cousin of my father who was a doctor who lived in Tel Aviv. We had to go there. We had to pass by there actually. Say, let's go in for say hello. I give him my, so to speak, my greetings, and then we can go on. Well, when I introduced myself and so forth, and he said, okay, so you don't go to Jerusalem. He said, stay here for a few days. You had a difficult trip for so long. Stay here. Anyway, I want to say, to make people understand what's doing, he said, stay. And I stayed with him till the very day I married.
Which was when?
Which was, I'm speaking about, I came.
In February 51.
I married in 54, and I stayed with him all that time.
From 51 to 54.
Despite the fact that at the time he and his wife were in that apartment. 2 daughters were in that apartment. His son had married, had gone to Haifa to study technology. When one of the daughters married while I was there, she got an apartment. They had not much money. He was a doctor already for 17 years, was very important for people, the doctor. They were able to obtain for the daughter an apartment with what is called mashutaf,
Tziburi.
kitchen or something which was connected to
What section of Tel Aviv were you? Was he?
Dizengoff Street.
That's right next to my daughter. My daughter's at Ebbetson, around there.
And when the next daughter was to get married, and I was still there. The next daughter was to get married. They moved from their bedroom to where they had eaten, and gave that daughter their room. That daughter even gave birth in that place, and I was still there.
Wow.
That I want to say to that was Dr. Loeb. That's Hachnasat Ochim that nobody can surpass.
Right. Now let's for a minute talk about how you met your husband. Would you like to say a few words? Your husband's been speaking the whole time. What is your first name? What's your first name? What?
Judith.
Yehudit, please. How did you meet your husband? Don't worry, don't be shy. Come on.
Tell the truth.
Look at the camera, please. Go ahead.
No,
There was a boy there, younger than me, but the one who went to Haifa, who came to Beit Sirot when he wanted to schmooze with some girls.
He came to where?
Beit Sirot, which was next to it.
Okay.
I was a madricha there, and I lived there. And he was telling all the time he has got a bandot who is something special. And in the end, we saw this special bandot in some evening or something.
in Tel Aviv.
in Tel Aviv, and this Yonah introduced us, and the friend which I was going with said, let's go home quickly, otherwise he's going to take us home, and somebody who says whatever he thinks and is much more intelligent than the others and much more knowing and not afraid of saying what he thinks, and going with the yarmulke in Tel Aviv, although people took off the yarmulke because they didn't want anything. So I went home, and he did take me home. But since then, he did sometimes.
So you married in 1954. Now you're from Germany too? You're from where are you?
I'm from Köln. My father is from Vienna.
Then when did you come to this country?
My father was Lo Aleinu Mizrachist. Not because
Lo Aleinu.
that
Why'd you say Lo Aleinu?
because he was friendly with all the Rabbonim of Lita, because he was the first one to run away, yes, and he got a job in Lithuania as a Rov, and the Rov of this shul was automatically the representative of all Jews of.
In which city? This is in Vienna?
No, I was born in Köln. He was in the Lehrer seminar of Karlebach, was not permitted to say a word about Mizrahi. So he promised, and he didn't say anything in the morning, but in the afternoon there were always students in our place. Sie müssen nach Palästina, Hitler אומר, whatever Hitler says he's going to do if he gets a chance. He was called hysterical, which he was, Baruch Hashem, because quite a few people, one of them told me, because of your father I'm here, he threw us out from Germany. A personal relationship with all the great people of Lithuania.
What do we all the Rabbonim? Who, Rabbi Chaim Eliezer? Rabbi Chaim Eliezer Grudensky? You don't know the names.
Shera and
Moshe Sher,
Panovich.
Sher's father.
Panovich, what was it?
Oh, the Panovich Rav, Rabbi Shlomo Kahaneman.
Yeah. And we
Okay.
were good friends with the father of the girl who married Lakewood. What was it?
Rabbi Aaron Kotler.
Kotler, Aaron.
His wife was no, a Risha
Friedman,
Friedman.
which I played the ball with,
Oh yeah?
and my brother also. And
Where? In Lita? Where?
in Lita, they were living across the street.
In what city?
They would
Memel.
touch our
Where?
In Memel, no?
Memel, Klapida,
In Memel?
yes.
Okay.
And Rocha was married to son of Sarna,
Oh, Rabbi Cheskel Sarna.
yes.
His wife was a sister to Rishel.
Again. And Shulam is, my mother said, we wanted to adopt her when she came, but the sheriff didn't permit that, and she is the wife of Volpe
Of who?
Volpe of
Volpe?
I don't know.
in Ashdod. They have in Ashdod or Ashkelon,
Huh?
I don't know.
Panovich and
In Ashdod.
Okay,
so
whatever.
My father personally was makbid more than Charedim, but he thought that everybody has to get out. Eretz Yisrael, we'll see later what there is, yes, and there was quite a few Rabbonim who thought so. and also take them to China,
Shanghai, yeah.
Shanghai. The others were afraid that you'd become irreligious, which was, I'm in my class in a religious school when people sent there also if they weren't religious. Arbenstein was went there. He should be. My father was a Gemara teacher of Arbenstein. That's
Oh, yeah?
yeah, and Arbenstein went there because his uncle told his father, let him be in Apikoros, but not in Amoritz.
Right.
And so those people were in my class also, and 90% were irreligious. By the way, 5 boys fell in the 48 war. I just wanted to say something before you can take it off later. That he was at Dr. Loeb. That was done with everybody.
He was a doctor, what?
He was living till he married with Dr.
Yeah, with Dr.
In
With,
my house, there were always a cousin or whoever came from the war or
right, but he,
who didn't.
okay, but he was saying it was 3 years, 51 to 54, and you
all
have
my
2
cousins.
daughters that are marrying.
They,
Yeah, it's not a country. I understand.
that was the usual thing.
Okay, 1 second.